The titanic collision between Mike Tyson and Tony TNT Tucker was an event that marked an important milestone in Tyson's career, when two undefeated world champions met in the ring, with a combined record of 64 wins and 0 losses, resulting in one of the most memorable confrontations in heavyweight boxing history. Stay to the end of this video to see what really happened during the bout. Mike Tyson, nicknamed Iron Mike, had earned his reputation based on his devastating power and relentless aggressiveness in the ring. By the mid-1980s, Tyson was at the peak of his powers. With his aggressive style and impressive hand speed for a heavyweight, Tyson was not only winning fights, but dominating them in spectacular fashion. Destroying his opponents in the early rounds had become his trademark. The truth is that Tyson was not just a boxer, he was like a force of nature, an unstoppable phenomenon. Since his professional debut in 1985, Tyson had amassed an impressive winning streak, including a series of resounding knockouts that led him to capture his first world title in 1986 by defeating Trevor Berbick. Tyson, at just 20 years old, became the youngest heavyweight world champion in boxing history. From there, his career skyrocketed, successfully defending his title against a series of notable contenders. Although, while Tyson was grabbing the headlines, a new challenger was being forged in the shadows. We are talking about none other than Tony TNT Tucker. Unlike Tyson, whose career had been meteoric and full of lights, Tucker had kept a lower profile, honing his skills and climbing the ranks more quietly, but just as effectively. Tony Tucker, with a height of 6 feet 4 inches and a considerable wingspan, stood out not only for his size, but for his refined technique and surprising agility for a man of his build. Tucker had been crowned the #1 amateur heavyweight in the world before making the jump to the pros in 1980. Since then, he had compiled an impressive record, knocking out 23 of his first 24 opponents. Tucker, nicknamed TNT for his explosive punch, was a boxer who combined power and technical skill. His fluid movement and ability to control distance with his jab gave him a significant advantage over many of his opponents. However, despite his talent, Tucker had flown under the radar compared to Tyson, who was the media superstar of the moment. And you, do you think this is true? Leave your opinion in our comments, we'd like to know. For now, let's continue talking about Tony Tucker, since he didn't have a meteoric rise like Tyson, but his career was equally impressive. He began boxing professionally in the winter of 1980, and although his start was somewhat low-key, he quickly began to stand out on the American domestic scene. Tucker annihilated club fighters in small indoor shows, racking up victories and demonstrating his ability to knock out his opponents. Tucker was crowned IBF heavyweight champion after defeating James "Buster" Douglas in 1987. This victory not only gave him a world title, but also put him in the sights of Tyson, the undisputed WBA and WBC champion. With an undefeated record of 34-0, Tucker was ready for the biggest challenge of his career, a showdown with Mike Tyson. Did you see the fight? Well, below we will analyze all the details of the fight between Tyson and Tucker, which was destined to be one of the biggest fights of the decade. Two undefeated champions, each with his own style and approach to boxing, would face off to determine who was the true undisputed heavyweight champion. The preparation for this fight was intense for both boxers. Tyson, known for his dedication and meticulous approach, trained with an intensity that reflected the importance of the bout. Under the guidance of his trainer Kevin Rooney, Tyson honed his fighting style, focusing on his head movement, his ability to close the distance quickly, and his devastating power in hooks and uppercuts. On the other hand, Tucker also prepared rigorously. He knew that facing Tyson would require more than just technical skill. He would need stamina, strategy, and the ability to adapt on the fly. Tucker focused on his defense, his ability to keep Tyson at bay with his jab, and his ability to counterpunch effectively. His goal was to neutralize Tyson's aggressiveness and take the fight to the later rounds, where he believed he would have an advantage. Now then, recall the night of August 1st, 1987, at the Hilton Resort in Las Vegas, where he witnessed one of boxing's most anticipated events. The atmosphere at the venue was electric, with fans and pundits alike anticipating an epic fight between two undefeated champions. From the first round, Tucker showed that he was not there just to play second fiddle. With a fast and accurate jab, he kept Tyson at a distance and frustrated him with his movement and defense. Tucker even managed to connect with an uppercut that momentarily knocked Tyson's legs out from under him, something rarely seen. Throughout the early rounds, Tucker maintained his strategy, gaining points and avoiding Tyson's powerful punches. However, Tyson began to adapt his style. He began to hit Tucker's midsection hard, gradually slowing him down. As the rounds progressed, Tyson began to find his rhythm, creating openings from his jab and connecting with devastating combinations. In the middle rounds, the fight became more balanced. Tucker continued to use his jab to keep Tyson at a distance, but Tyson's constant pressure and body shots were beginning to take their toll. Tucker's defense, while solid, could not prevent all of Tyson's attacks, and some of Tyson's combinations began to connect cleanly. From my point of view, the fight was very technically balanced. What do you think? As the fight progressed into the final rounds, Tyson's strategy of punishing Tucker's body began to pay off. Tucker's mobility was reduced and Tyson took every opportunity to land power punches. In the 9th round, Tyson connected with a left hook that rocked Tucker, but Tucker showed his resilience and managed to stay on his feet. The final rounds were a true test of endurance and skill for both boxers. Tucker, although visibly tired, continued to throw his jab and move to avoid Tyson's more devastating punches. However, Tyson kept pressing, looking for an opportunity to end the fight. The final round was especially intense. Both fighters knew the outcome was on the line and gave it everything they had left. Tucker tried to keep his distance and throw combinations to impress the judges, while Tyson continued to look for the decisive blow. Towards the final seconds of the last round, Tyson connected with a left hook that was the highlight for the judges. After 12 rounds of intense action, the verdict was in the hands of the judges. Mike Tyson won by unanimous decision, but the fight had been one of the toughest of his career. In the post-fight interview, Tyson acknowledged the difficulty of the fight and the skill of Tucker, mentioning that he had been one of the toughest boxers he had faced. Despite the loss, Tony Tucker's career did not end there. His performance against Tyson earned him the respect of the boxing community and proved he was a serious contender. Tucker continued his career, racking up wins and seeking another world title shot. In 1993, Tucker faced Lennox Lewis in a world title fight. Although he lost to Lewis, Tucker once again demonstrated his skill and stamina, taking Lewis to one of the toughest fights of his career. However, a lack of consistency and perhaps motivation prevented Tucker from reaching the top of the boxing world once again. Tony Tucker is an example of a boxer with immense talent and technical skills, but whose career did not reach its full potential. Despite his impressive record and wins, Tucker was never able to mentally recover from his first loss to Tyson. He preferred to return to less prominent fights, racking up wins, but without the same glory. And you, do you think Tucker will always be remembered as a former world champion who showed great skill and tenacity in the ring? Is his fight against Tyson still one of the highlights? Let us know in our comments. We can't wait to hear what you guys think. We hope you liked the video. If so, don't forget to subscribe, like it, and turn on the little bell. See you next time.